Welcome back. Behind me we have the 2024 Africa Twin Adventure Sports. We're gonna take a look and see what's changed compared with the previous year. We're gonna make a short overview of the bike and check out its features. Stick around. Well, this is the new 2024 Africa Twin Adventure Sports. A lot of things have been changed for this bike. We're gonna check them out and see what has been changed and what has been refined. So let's check step by step some of its features, some changes that has been done to this bike, to the Africa Twin 2024 Adventure Sports. First of all, we have a 19-inch front wheel, tubeless. And not only that, the front wheel has been changed to 19-inch from 21-inch size, but also the suspension travel was modified, and also the ground clearance. So we have a lower ground clearance, we have a different suspension. This bike comes standard with the skid plate, which is original Honda skid plate, and also comes standard with the plastic handguards, which by the way, they look very similar with the ones from the Honda Transalp, from my Honda Transalp. And what has been mounted on the bike, it's this engine guard. As you can see, this engine guard and the crash bars, plus the original fog lights from Honda.
Designed for touring performance, the 2024 Africa Twin Adventure Sports electronic suspension received a renewed on-road focus. In addition to the platform-wide updates like a redesigned intake exhaust, adjusted valve timing, increased compression, revised styling and updated electronics, the Adventure Sports versions now benefit from a lower seat height that improves on-road handling thanks to the shorter suspension travel and a new 19-inch front wheel. The bike now has a 5-position windscreen, tubeless tires and a revised fairing design. The bike features a new 19-inch front wheel and a shorter suspension travel for improved on-road handling. The tubeless tires, previously only fitted on the Adventure Sports versions, are now fitted to the 21 18-inch wheels of the standard versions. The twin-cylinder engine generates stronger power and torque in the low to mid-range RPMs. Compression ratio is raised, and alongside development of ECU settings, valve timing, intake and exhaust. Dual clutch transmission is updated for smoother, more natural feel at low speeds. Adventure Sports version's new front fairings adds muscular looks and improves wind protection. The bike has now a new seat which improves the comfort with a thicker cushion and revised shape. As a result of the suspension changes and smaller front wheel, the ground clearance is reduced to 8.5 inches. For 2024, all versions of the Africa Twin receive a revised airbox, optimized ECU settings and valve timing, and an updated muffler, all of which contribute to an increase of torque and power over the previous generation. The diameter of the intake duct is increased by 6 mm to 35 mm, drawing in more air, while the two internal trumpets that feed air from the airbox are both 65 mm longer. The crankcases are split vertically and the water pump is housed within the clutch casing with a thermostat integrated into the cylinder head. The water and oil pumps are driven by the engine's balancer shafts. These features contribute to the engine being compact and short, and they help optimize ground clearance, a crucial element for off-road performance. The updated muffler is designed to match the revised intake for improved drivability. In addition, the new design is lighter and offers a pleasant exhaust note at low RPM and a more bass-filled note at high RPM. The muffler features a single inlet and dual outlets with an exhaust control valve, located just downstream of the split in the main pipe. The exhaust valve closes off the larger pipe at low RPM for a pulsating feel, but opens at high RPM so that gases exit through both pipes for improved output. For 2024, the Africa Twin's DCT has been developed for smoother engagement at takeoff and at lower speeds. This improvement is a result of enhancements to the hydraulic control that enable better clutch response. The system has been adjusted to make use of the engine's increased torque, making downshifts earlier.
So everything it's somehow modified, not only from electronics, because we have also different electronics. So the engine was not modified or was not adjusted only by its electronics, but was adjusted also modifying parts of it. We can consider that this is a brand new engine. It has more torque and it offers more power and torque at very low RPMs. So now we have basically almost the same horsepower with more torque, but this power is delivered very early, which makes the rides more pleasant and gives you the possibility to enjoy the bike even at very low RPMs. The suspension travel was also modified for the front and for the rear. Let's check out some of its details. We can see here even the parking brake, how it's protected on the back side. We have Bridgestone tires. Let's be more specific, Batlex Adventure. These are the tires which are coming stock. We have an electronic suspension which adjusts itself according to your riding terrain. We have here some space for the panniers, for the plastic panniers. If you want to add a metallic rack, you install it here and add a rack for the side panniers. 12-volt power outlet comes as standard. So perhaps Honda saw and listened to its customers that were actually riding this bike mostly on tarmac or traveling long distances, not necessarily off-road. So this bike is actually adjusted to suit the on-roads in a very comfortable way, with an electronic suspension, with a lower center of gravity. Imagine that now the bike has a lower ground clearance, everything it's lower positioned. The suspension was downgraded in terms of travel. Let's check out here the radiator side, where we can see that still the pipe it's exposed. We have this OEM skid plate, which is about 2.5 maximum millimeters. It's not so thick. Classic foldable foot pegs. A very strong rear brake lever. Unfortunately for this model, the air filter is positioned under the petrol tank. This is of course another indicator which makes the air filter maintenance a little bit difficult. This rack, the rear rack, it's included. It comes as standard. You can actually grab the bike easily and move it. You can see this plastics on the most exposed part on the foot peg over here. You can check it out. This same as the Transalp. This part is very exposed to scratches because you're actually using here very often your leg. The passenger foot peg. Yeah, the bike, it's very compact, not so much space over here on the engine if we compare it with the NX 500, for example, but we're speaking about a different category. The ventilators for the radiator. A very basic chain guard which ends about here. the chain it's more exposed to dirt, but this bike is not suited for too much off-roading, if you ask me. I really like how the plastics are mixed together with the tank in a very nice way. The plastic they seem quite quality, and they are the joints with the petrol tank are very nicely done. And in terms of connectivity, this bike has everything in order to connect your phone with the dashboard. You can see here a lot of display commands, a lot of controls on the control dashboard. This is the control console you are used with for Africa Twin. Nothing special here. And of course here we have the controls for the DCT, starting with neutral, drive, sport modes, and also the cruise control, which can be selected by pressing this button. The sound of the plastics. For those of you who are still want a refined engine, a new bike, but still with 21-inch front wheel, if you still want an Africa Twin with a 21-inch front wheel with a refined engine, with a refined electronics, but still with no DCT, with tubeless tires, and with a 21-inch front wheel, here we go. You have the manual version of the Africa Twin 2024. You already heard the exhaust sound, and what's also modified for the exhaust is that we have two equal end pipes, as you can see here. It's changed. It offers a more low vibrating sound. Now you already heard it. Let's hear it one more time. So there is a much more vibrating sound coming up from these two equally end exhausts, which we have here. And yeah, I would definitely think about the new Africa Twin, but my favorite is the one with a 21-inch front wheel. I don't need a DCT for this one. It's already heavier enough to add another 10 or 15 kilos more to it. And of course you don't have an electronic suspension, but you have a fully adjustable suspension. And you have all the beautiful features for the new Africa Twin. We have more power on low RPMs. You have more torque, 105 Newton meters. and you are able to push the bike starting from lower RPMs. And I have to say that this red combination of color with the red and blue and white thing looks quite impressive. Of course, the iconic tricolore version with the white, blue and red, it's also nice, but there are only two colors available for the new Africa Twin, so not too many colors to choose from. And you can see that this comes also standard with the skid plate and partially exhaust protection on the right side. Could be, why not, one of my future bikes, who knows. Still too many kilometers I have to make with the Transalp before I even consider buying the Africa Twin. And also consider that this standard Africa Twin 2024 has kept its ground clearance and suspension travel. It's more suited for off-road riding. Of course, if you want to push it there and you have the necessary skills, you can actually do quite a lot. We all know that the limit is not the bike, it's always the rider. So this was the 2024 Africa Twin Adventure Sports. We still need to wait until March to be able to test ride this bike. So stick around. Thanks for watching. See you next time.